Hello there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, survivor, and advocate. And today's topic is sweet revenge or self-preservation. And so many of you have experienced going either low contact or no contact with the narcissist and or flying monkeys, aka toxic siblings. And so you are well aware of the various cruelty, the malicious words, the hate speech, the bullying, and the nonstop harassment that has been going on for some time. Oftentimes, the abusive people twist everything and they actually flip a switch. And exactly what they're doing, sweet revenge, they flip the switch and they claim that we're the ones who are seeking revenge. And so today's topic is about how those who are the black sheep in the family and or you consider yourself the scapegoat, not by choice, but that's how things have played out, especially within the dysfunctional family or the rocky marriage and so forth. We have learned how to preserve our own safety, our own health, our own mind, and our own healing journey. So we're going to talk about that. I have a lot of notes and a lot of thoughts about this. So let's begin. Let's start with this. Whether you did go low contact, meaning you really don't see, speak to, or communicate that often with the person who you consider narcissistic and toxic, or maybe you went, full-blown no contact, and that means you never ever communicate with them in any form or fashion. So whichever way it may have played out for you. The whole point is that this is not something that you did out of impulsiveness. This is not something that was spontaneity. Instead, this was something that took you years and years and years to wrestle with. We must understand that, especially when it comes to the dysfunctional family dynamics, those people who are the scapegoats and or the black sheep of the family do not just suddenly walk away for no reason. We have a long, long history of repeated abuse, whether it is something that's physical, mental, spiritual, sexual, and on and on and on. We must understand also that it takes great courage to have the strength to finally cut the ties and to say no more. But remember now that those people who are toxic, who are abusive, they may be a sociopath. They may be someone you are related to. It might be your ex-husband, someone you were married to or you went steady with. It might be your boss. Whoever the person may be, we have to understand that typically they're the ones who seek revenge. They will create smear campaigns. They will gaslight you. They will destroy your relationships with triangulation. They will find all kinds of sly ways, covert tactics to destroy you and your reputation. And so revenge is their go-to. But for us people, the people who are the scapegoats and the black sheep of the family, self-preservation is really something that we end up finding in our healing pathway. It's after we form healthy boundaries that we decide on what really is important to us and what's really vital for our well-being, for our peace of mind, for our future. And part of it is self-preservation. And so we have to understand that after we have put so much effort and so many years, it might be an entire lifetime in reality, that we have tried to fix the broken relationships, to mend the destructive relationships, to try to change these people, to try to change ourselves, to try to change the dynamics of a dysfunctional family. And we try and we try and we try until we finally see, when we reach that fork in the road, we can't change the family dynamics. We can't change this unbelievable amount of psychological abuse, of the craziness, the three-ring circus, how the narcissist is feeding off of the whole narcissistic supply, and how they love to lash out, deceive us, manipulate us, hurt us, and trash every relationship that we have. So it's really something that we come to a place of acceptance. We awaken to the truth about abuse. And in this new reality that we come to understand because we educated ourselves, we've done a lot of research. We've been on such an amazing personal journey of transformation, and we have to understand it's inside out. It's inside out. It might have begun like a butterfly. You know, you're first in the dark cocoon, and then finally you reach a place where you spread your wings and you soar. And it's through the soaring that we do understand things so much different and on a new level. There's new perspectives. There's so much wisdom through the healing journey. And so when we reach this major fork in the road, okay, so it's a turning point. It's a turning point. That's when we finally say, no, I cannot participate in the toxic family dysfunction. No, I cannot be a part of the triangulation. I am not going to be a part of this. If my siblings and my parents and my relatives or whoever it may be, and for you it might be someone else, such as a spouse or an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, we have to understand, we can't keep doing what we were doing because it's not working. And so the narcissist is the lead puppeteer. They have their strings and they're making all the moves and they fold everyone. But we woke up and we see the truth and we've walked away. And boom, 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 we cut the ties from that little puppet, the head puppeteer who is manipulating everybody. We cut the ties and we walk away for good. But in doing so, the narcissist and the flying monkeys, aka the toxic siblings, will accuse us of sweet revenge. They'll say that we are haters, that it's all us, that we're liars, that we're crazy. And yet, let's look at their actions. Actions speak louder than words. And so when these people who are calling us crazy, who said that we're seeking revenge, let's look at this. We were trying to keep peace. We were forming healthy boundaries. We were praying for reconciliation. We were forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. And you know what? You can only forgive for so long, but when that bad behavior keeps repeating itself in an abusive cycle. So it's a cycle of abuse and it goes on decade after decade after decade. And you are the person, the victim of the abuse, okay? Very traumatic experience. And what happens is because we were so courageous to walk away, all of those vicious people decide to say, that we're the person who's bad, that we're the one who's not enough, that we're the one who seeks revenge. When the reality is they are seeking revenge. How do we know this? Follow their trail. See everything they're saying and doing. Their actions speak up. Someone who has revenge, they're stalking you, they're mobbing you, they're following you, they're harassing you, they're lying about you, they're creating smear campaigns against you. They are destroying everything to do with you, your reputation, your relationships, your work, your purpose, your life, your health. They are ripping you to shreds. They are the ones seeking revenge. Now we must understand that the narcissist and the toxic siblings, they have a vengeful mindset. Their mind is not stable, okay? And that is why they are retaliating and claiming and accusing us, the scapegoats, of seeking revenge when it's really them. Next, of course, we have to know that this is furthest from the truth. Those who are the scapegoats, the black sheep of the family, we're the odd ones out. That's because we spoke up. Do you understand? If you're speaking the truth and people are silencing you, that's a sign of abuse. If you are sharing what really happened to you and people are telling you it's a lie, it's not true, they're calling you names, that is a sign of abuse. If people are trying to attack you and destroy you, it is a sign of psychological abuse, and all of it is revenge. Next is, when we ended these relationships, again, it was not impulsive. We wrestled for years and years and years. We finally reached the end of our rope. I guarantee you, 2 years ago, I reached the end of my rope. I said, enough is enough. And the truth is, when I look back on the past, say 2017, even 2016, my siblings were discarding me. I will create another video about the siblings who discard us, but I see very clearly what happened. And it was a slow fade. It was something that wasn't just 1, 2, 3, black and white, boom, overnight. No, it was slow. It was year by year, and it just started very gradual until it speeded up and accelerated to the point of my reaching in 2018 that fork in the road where I said, hell no! And I cut the ties with the toxic siblings and my mother. Now, it's not an easy path, I admit, but it was not something that I did out of revenge. It was not something I did out of spite. Instead, it was self-preservation. So let's talk about self-preservation. According to Wikipedia.com, quote unquote, self-preservation is a behavior that ensures the survival of an organism. Pain and fear are an integral part of this mechanism. Pain motivates the individual to withdraw from damaging situations, and I'm putting in my own little parenthesis of AKA toxic family members, to protect the damaged body part, AKA psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, etc., while it heals and avoids similar experiences in the future. Okay, so we'll just sum it up. Self-preservation is about survival. We are in survival mode. And while it may not be healthy to stay in survival mode for the rest of our lives, part of the healing journey is to preserve our own mind, our own body, our own thoughts, our own well-being, our purpose, our passions, and our quality of life. And it's part of recovery, abuse recovery. Next is, it takes a really strong person to cut the ties from a narcissist and or toxic people. So whether it was your boss, whether it was a boyfriend, girlfriend, a spouse, whether it was your mother, your father, your grandparents, your sisters, your brothers, whoever it may be, it really takes courage, it takes strength, it takes fierce determination and perseverance to rise above such horrific, traumatic obstacles, adversity, and abuse. Next is that most of our society is oblivious at how destructive narcissistic abuse is to human beings. So if someone has not experienced a toxic family, if their family has always been stable, loving, caring, supportive, the average person then is not aware of how painful, how destructive, how harmful, how absolutely traumatic it is for those of us who have experienced this ongoing unhealthy dynamic within the dysfunctional family. And so, oftentimes people are like, oh no, you should love your mother, you should forgive your father, you should this, you should that. Oh, they didn't mean it. Oh, just forgive them, just forgive and forget. You know what? Self-preservation is not about forgiving and forgetting. We will never forget. Even if I wanted to forget when my mother neglected me and abused me as a child. Even if I wanted to forget that my brother-in-law sexually assaulted me 14 years ago. Even if I wanted to forget my toxic siblings who betrayed me, who had ruthlessly, maliciously stalked me, harassed me, bullied me, and tried to destroy me. I can't forget. Do you understand? The body keeps the score. Even if we ourselves suppressed and repressed trauma and abuse, especially from the narcissistic family, we have to understand that every cell within our body, not just the brain, we're talking cells now, we're talking every single cell within your body on a molecular level is entrenched with trauma. Therefore, even if you try to forget, even if you somewhere along the line may have suppressed it, repressed it, it's going to haunt you. It's going to come up. It's going to keep coming up until you face it, because we must know that the only way to heal is to feel, to acknowledge the truth, to awaken to the past abuse, to speak about it, to talk about it, to write about it, to work through it, to process the pain, the grief, the loss, and the trauma. And these trauma wounds run deep, which is why I wrote my book, Soul Cry, Releasing and Healing the Wounds of Trauma, to help everyone who's a survivor to be able to start a healing journey for themselves, because everybody deserves peace of mind, safety, and healing and love. Next is that for the black sheep of the family, when we cut the ties with one or more family members, it's our last resort, okay? As mentioned, it's never the first thing we do. It's never the spontaneous act out of a negative energy or something that may be like a retaliation. No, when we have healthy boundaries, when we go no contact, when we need to separate ourselves from people who are hurting us, it is self-preservation. We have to understand that. When scapegoats end these toxic relationships, it is for the purpose of healing trauma. The goal is always to heal ourselves and start the recovery process. Please understand, if you yourself currently at this exact moment are in an abusive relationship, your healing will not even be doable until you leave. We cannot heal if we remain in abusive relationships. Healing starts the moment we create healthy boundaries and we walk away and we end the cycle of abuse. I really pray for you today to do that and to have the strength and courage to say no more. Next is, had we stayed in the abusive relationship? So for example, had I stayed in the relationship with my narcissistic mother and my 4 toxic siblings, it would have prevented me to heal. I never would have recovered. I never would have had peace of mind. I never would have even been able to connect the dots because I was too much in the mesh of it. You're so surrounded by the drama, dysfunction, denial, deception, destruction. You don't fully see it. You're blind. For so many years, I didn't understand it. It wasn't until I walked away and ended these relationships and I formed the healthy boundaries and I started the recovery process that I was able to connect the dots. All of a sudden, I started seeing things more clearly and understanding. And that we have to understand that no contact is key for healing. No contact is essential for you and your emotional, physical, and spiritual health and to live out the best quality of life you could live on this planet. Let's make it crystal clear that no contact is not taking revenge. It's self-preservation. We're doing it because we need to protect ourselves. We need to survive. We need to thrive. We need to seek healthy relationships, everything that is uplifting, encouraging, inspiring, motivational, things that are positive. That is our goal. That is our focus. It's empowering when we end the unhealthy relationships. It really is about safety. It's about peace of mind. We choose to value ourselves. We promote self-care. We take care of ourselves. We learn to love ourselves. Remember, you may have never, ever received unconditional love from your parents, from your siblings, maybe the ex-spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend. You may have never been respected. You may have never been enough. In their eyes, they said you weren't enough. They said you didn't deserve love. You do deserve love, my friend. You deserve self-respect, self-acceptance, and you are worthy just as you are. Next. According to thefreedictionary.com, quote unquote, self-preservation is protection of oneself from harm or destruction. We end abusive relationships to end the cycle of abuse. Otherwise, the narc and toxic siblings would continue to repeatedly hurt us. Self-preservation is how we save ourselves, how we care for ourselves, how we enforce and maintain healthy boundaries. We act on our own best interest. We tune into our gut instincts. We listen to that still, soft voice that says when someone is endangering our lives, when someone is hurting us, when someone is trampling all over our boundaries, when someone is so cruel and mean and hurtful and spiteful, and they are the ones seeking revenge. Our gut instinct is telling us, alert, alert, save yourself. And so we seek self-preservation. We trust ourselves and we listen to our body because the body keeps the score. When we have pain and we have inflammation and we have insomnia and we have brain fog and we have anxiety and PTSD, a lot of this are the symptoms of trauma. They're trying to get our attention. Listen to your body. Give it what it needs. It needs you to respect you. It needs it to love you. It needs it for you to feel it, to heal it. Next, regardless of what the narcissists and the toxic siblings accuse us of, we know that we never were vengeful people, us scapegoats. We are compassionate. We're highly sensitive. We're creative souls. We have this ability to feel other people's emotions and feelings, and we tap into their energy. We know positive energy versus negative energy, and we choose to have a positive vibration to go out into the world to touch other lives in such a beautiful way. Today, continue to focus on yourself, on your healing, on your boundaries, on doing whatever sets your soul on fire to live out your passionate dreams, to tap into those beautiful strengths and gifts that you were blessed with and born with. Trust me, everyone has a gift. Some have many gifts, many talents, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's something to do with computers, and maybe you love to play the guitar. Maybe you love to sing and dance. Maybe you love to write. Maybe you're really great with your hands and you're into like mechanical stuff or computer tech stuff. Do what you love and focus on what you can do and what you have control over, because this is what makes us more empowered and more happy. Lastly, know that revenge is harmful. It is going against the grain of someone who's an empath. At the core of us and who we are, empaths are people who are healers. And today, continue being who you are. Shine on like a bright star. And the meanwhile, share with me. Did the narcissist or toxic siblings or any of the flying monkeys accuse you of seeking sweet revenge? How have you taken care of yourself? Has self-preservation been a part of your healing journey and self-care? Let's chat. God bless. And you could go to danaarcuri.com for inspiration. Take care.